This is Learning the Ropes. Learning the Ropes. Presented by Costen and Hammer Productions. Now, on to the show with your host, Josh Hammer.
Welcome, everyone, to Learning the Ropes, a podcast that uses the game of baseball as a vehicle to learn about a variety of other topics to improve personal development and to better understand the perspectives of those around us. I'm your host, Josh Hammer, and today is a special day because I have our co-host once again, the Chief Growth Officer of Psycho Cider, co-founder of Costen Hammer Productions, filmmaker. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Platinum producer.
Yeah. You might as well just introduce yourself. Please welcome.
I'm not going to do that because you are the man that makes us go. And I appreciate you, my friend.
Oh, wow. We're feeling the good vibes. It's mostly because we're quarantined, so we're feeling extra positive, I think. But that's just that's beside the point.
It could be just that too. But no, you are making us go. I appreciate it. Josh, the hitman Hammer, always making things happen. And I'm just happy to be here with you, my friend.
Well, I'm happy to have you as my co-host as we both combine our voices to enlighten our guests, and bring music to their ears, as they say. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and ring in our special guest with us today. Please welcome Dr. Howard Beatty, who you can find him in the healthcare environment or even growing future leaders in the classroom. So
what's up.
It is what's up. We're all three educators in our own way, in our own path. So
absolutely.
Dr. Howard, thank you so much for being here today with Learning the Ropes.
Thank you for the invite. It's an honor to be here. It's an awesome show, and I really, really like it. It's definitely a great honor to be here.
Well,
I've known you forever. I've known you through your show, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, we've been looking forward to having you every time we talk about who are we going to bring on for this show. Your name gets thrown in the mix 10 out of 10 times.
That's right, baby. Dr. Howard Beatty is handling business, and we want him to handle business on the Costen and Hammer show, baby. Productions, learning the ropes.
Yeah, absolutely, and particularly, we like to have a lot of fun, especially when we get together, Tobin and I. And I think, although we want to have a lot of fun, there's some important topics that we want to delve into today, particularly around technology and cybersecurity. So maybe you could touch on a little bit of what you think, especially at this time during COVID-19, of why cybersecurity might be important.
Yeah, definitely. It's at the highest of our checklist right now at work. I work for a large healthcare system, a really large one. I think it's like number 2 in the nation, and probably 40 plus hospitals, 980 facilities. And there's so many different ways that we could be attacked by people in other countries, mainly like China, Russia. Those are 2 of the big ones. They focus in on us. We get hit with probably 10,000 plus attacks a day, and so cybersecurity.
Wow.
It's crazy. So and what's strange is the easiest way to gain access to the system is cold calls. They call our users and talk to them as if they're a member of IT and just ask for their password or just ask for information. And wow. People believe them and give it to them, and people even in IT will believe them. So it is important, and with COVID going on, virtual care is becoming more and more popular. It was already on the rise, and now it's skyrocketing, and it's probably the beginning of a huge paradigm shift, and COVID has just expedited that shift. So security and securing our information is vital because, as you know, it's more valuable to people than your social security number, your electronic medical record, and all that information. They can falsify billing on there and make millions of dollars before anyone ever knows what happened. So So the need for security in healthcare is at its utmost importance right now as far as our daily routines.
Wow. Thank you for informing us. Everyone right now is, on their devices, navigating through social media. You see spam on social media all the time, and people talk about how they freak out when they're looking at, their Facebook page or whatever, and they were just circling through on Amazon this product. They didn't add it to their cart, but then all of a sudden it somehow pops up there. So it's easy to fall into the trap of clickbait.
Yeah, it is. And you get emails all the time. And even if you think the email is valid, don't click on the link in your email. Just open up a browser and go to the website yourself. Don't follow that link. And passwords, don't just pick your middle name or your kid's name. Try to make a unique password that's hard to guess, because there's people out there that's pretty sophisticated, and they'll figure it out. So yeah, definitely there's ways to protect yourself. You just gotta practice them. Just like now, everyone's practicing. We always knew keeping your hands sanitized and social distancing was good. We never practiced it until now. So same thing with security. Kind of what to do. Just trying to make it a daily habit is key.
Absolutely. When you talk about everyone just clicking on sources that they shouldn't be, or just navigating through websites without any safety browsers. I mean, there seems like there's a lot of pretty clear, tangible ways to avoid these. Let's just say to take things with precautionary measures.
Should probably stay off a certain website, right, Dr. Beatty?
That's it. Watch your websites. Don't go to those ones that some people just love to go to. Just kind of stay away from those. They will affect your computer. And now I'm glad you brought that up, Tobin. It's all of my employees, a majority of them now, have transitioned to work from home, and now they're working from their home devices. But those devices, we don't have protection on those devices. So it's important for all of those employees, and not just my employees, but there's probably 2,000 other employees, corporate level employees in the system that we sent home, and all of their personal devices. Some of them have corporate devices, but not everyone. And we're using those personal devices. It's just key to make sure that they have virus protection on them. A lot of people like to use Macs and they think Macs are pretty safe, according to other devices, and they don't want to put virus protection on because it makes them run slow. But it's really key to just, it's better safe than sorry. There's something called File Vault that will encrypt your device on there. Just turn that on. Don't leave it off. Make sure you have whatever virus software you think runs on your device. Those things are key right now, because being virtual with everything is where we're headed, and we're headed there really, really fast.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So can we just talk about, Dr. Beatty's background, where he grew up? Because I'm really, many people don't know Dr. Beatty and I went to high school together. We were like family. We were closer than family. And I'd love to just talk to you about, or ask you about, what's it like growing up in Germany, and what brought you to your passion of being in, IT and being in that world?
So yeah, when I was really small, I lived in Alaska, lived in Georgia, but most of my life, as Tobin said, is in Germany. Met my lifelong friends there, and what's cool about Germany growing up there was everyone that grew up there were really, really tight. Like, it was a really tight community. Everyone went to high school with. 99% of us, if you look at through social media, are doing really well. There's always that 1% that's not.
There's those 1% that are still in the pen. I know. I don't want to name names, but there's a couple of 1%ers in there.
But it's kind of cool looking at social media, seeing all of our classmates and seeing how well they're all doing. And one great memory I had is I remember we played after playing football, we won a championship, and we went to for spring break. We went to Spain, and we ran into the team that we beat in the championship, and we replayed them on the beach. And
beat them again.
Yeah, we beat them again. Crowds of people came out there. It's like a ref actually came into the picture, and it was like a real live game. And we had cheerleaders out there. It was the best experience ever. So I wouldn't trade that for the world. And like Tobin said, just lifelong friends and seeing them do really well. Growing up there, I think was a blessing.
Yeah, absolutely. So how did I'm super curious. I just think it's such a unique, every time I hear about, one of Tobin's high school classmates, they always talk about how that tight knit community is something that really build them up. And it seems like everyone's doing following their unique passion in different locations and making stuff happen.
Yeah.
So during your high school days, I'm curious as to what inspired you to take on the virtual world? With all of this craziness that Tobin brings, I don't know how do you keep your mind steady that you want to go into, are you scared of him where you're like, okay, I'm leaving, I'm going to the digital world?
Well, this was, back in the day. So the internet wasn't really around. So I did take a computer course in high school and I got an A, and I thought wow, I'm good at this. So my dad came home with, we couldn't really research colleges that well. So he came back home with a big, thick book of colleges, and he said, pick one. And so I started flipping through the book, and I picked a state in North Carolina, and I applied to a bunch of schools. I got accepted to all of them, except the school I went to, they accepted me in state for some reason. So it was a lot cheaper.
So which two schools were those that didn't accept you?
No, they literally all accepted me. It was like I applied to all the UNC, so UNC.
Oh, okay. So all of them accepted you.
All of them accepted me.
They knew Dr. Beatty was going to be a champion of champions.
Yeah, they all accepted me out of state though. They wanted me to pay the max amount of money. So
okay.
UNC Charlotte was like the second largest school in the state, and so I came here. Never seen the school. Never been to Charlotte. Just came right off the plane and
wow.
to the school, and my dad just dropped me off, and that was it. And it was
he said, "Get out."
He said, "Good luck." So
yeah. Hey, you know what? That is a funny story because our parents are very similar. Because I got some luggage. My parents didn't even drop me off. I got some luggage and a plane ticket. And they both said, good luck out there because it's hard. Yeah. And they literally did not see my college campus until they came for graduation 4 years later. So, that's kind of how it is. That's that hard military training background where it's like, okay, you're good. I don't know what you're going to do, but you're going to go to college or you're going to join the military or you're going to have a career, but you can't stay here.
And we didn't have cell phones either, so you just had to figure it out. And me and a buddy, Jason Reynolds, we were walking across campus and we see a sign of a guy hitting another guy, kind of looked like football, and it was rugby. So the school, after I got there, I figured out they didn't have a football team, so we went and started playing rugby, and that was a great experience as well. We went to got to play a lot of big schools like Clemson, Chapel Hill, Appalachian State. So I got to meet a lot of great people, see a lot of great schools, and it was just a great group of guys there, and they still meet up once a year at the lake.
Now, are you still playing? Do you still play once a year when they meet up?
Oh no! Once I started in the healthcare field, I couldn't come to work with like bruises and scratches on me. So I'm a spectator now. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll stay in the gym, but no contact. Yeah.
So what is from a football? And you talked about the Spain trip. But on the actual field itself, what was the most memorable moment for you, either rugby or football, where you can say, hey, I had a great moment with my team, and maybe individually you did some great things yourself?
Well, I go to rugby. I remember one time it was like my best run ever. I was running through, I ran all the way down the field, bunch of guys just falling off me. I hate that we didn't have cell phones and stuff back then, so I don't have footage of it. But a couple of the guys, they still remind me of my one all-time best run ever, where I just ran through a bunch of guys, and that memory sticks out to me, more than any other one. And just kind of those guys are just I don't know, they're just same thing. It's they're just good guys. They're just a good group of guys. And also in rugby, there's a tradition. The home team has to host a party, and the both teams, they kind of just hang out together after every game. So you kind of get to know the other team too. And so I remember post-game parties, hanging out with the other team and just meeting a bunch of great guys at the other schools as well. So it was great memories there.
Wow.
That's a great awesome thing about rugby, Hammer. You literally try to kill each other on the pitch, and then afterwards you drink beer and eat a bunch of food and hang out.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. I'm curious if anything, led out onto the other field of food. Maybe people were fighting over food, or was it just all good?
It was all good. It was during the game, like Tobin said, it was pretty rough, and then after the game, it was all fun. So
that's awesome to hear. I love me some good sportsmanship. But that being said, in between the lines, though, when it's on, it's on.
Actually, my transition into healthcare is what kind of pulled me out of rugby. While in school, my junior year is when I started at the company I'm currently at. And I've been here probably 27 years now, forever.
Wow.
Early on, they I think after 11 months, they made me a supervisor, and I'm supervising people that are twice my age, and I was just hooked ever since. And even during this, COVID, and you see all the first responder commercials, and the Air Force flew a plane the other day over a bunch of cities in North Carolina, some huge plane, and
wow.
Being a part of supporting these physicians and helping them do what they do every day, and it's just fun. The problem solving aspect of it is just fun for me. It keeps me going. So.
Did you feel like during your time with football, and growing up in Germany and having that military background, and then going on to just give rugby a try and all those unique experiences, I'm noticing there's a sense of determination and drive that I would imagine kind of helped propel you through your career as you continue to flourish as a healthcare professional.
Yeah, that's true. I've always been pretty competitive, as all of us have. That kind of grew up over there. Actually, the team. Now that I think back, we had some pretty amazing athletes that went to that school, and you look back and you see everybody being competitive in whatever they do. I mean, Tobin went into entertainment and music, and he really went at a high level really fast. And he even got other classmates into movies that are like blockbuster movies that still come on to this day. And you'll see our high school friends in these movies that, because of Tobin. And another one of our friends, Cecil, he was into music. He loved music in high school, and now he's all over Europe, and he's touring everywhere. He's always done what he loved to do, and he's even turned down offers to be on The Voice in Europe, and he just had.
Oh wow!
The guys that we hang out with on a regular basis, and everybody took their passion and took it to the highest level, and have done really good, all going different paths, all going to high levels, So I think to your point, I think just that growing up in that atmosphere really helped me a lot, and it helped me get to where I am today. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I know a lot of people don't have that hometown to go to because we're all spread out everywhere, but we try to make the best of it. We try to catch up when we can, but I wouldn't trade it for the world.
I think when you talk about competitiveness, we were competitive at everything. So when we were in school, we interviewed Anthony Brown already. He had a Mercedes, a burgundy Mercedes, we called the Doo-Doo Brown. And I had a silver 82 Granada called the Silver Bullet. And Howard had a Tempest?
78 Taurus.
78 Taurus was purple. The purple car, the purple people eater. So we were competitive as we would be driving on the Autobahn. And I'm saying for young folks at home, you shouldn't do this. But we would be competitive driving on the Autobahn, racing each other to get to from point A to point B. And we would compete about who's going to sit in the front if we were driving in the same car. We have a competition about what food we're going to eat and where we're going to eat. I mean, everything we did was a competition. And it didn't matter. One of us always wanted to win. I think that was some exciting times. But there's no better feeling when you are driving way past this slow purple car and this slow burgundy car, as the Silver Bullet was always number one, baby.
I said earlier, we didn't have cell phones, so we could record it. So the story's kind of changed.
Aside from the purple,
I did like the way the Silver Bullet looked. I used to always look at it in the rearview mirror and marvel at how nice that car was.
In the rearview mirror, as you're already.
Look, that never happened. That purple car was so beautiful. I thought the Joker was driving it as I was driving past it because I was like Speed Racer. But that's another story. We can talk about that another time.
We just took it to the superhero universe. I didn't. The one last topic I wanted to kind of touch on. We talk about your experience, not just only in the healthcare environment, but also in the classroom, growing future leaders. It seems like the competition or competing with yourself and taking your game to the next level hasn't stopped. Mm-hmm. And so what I'm curious to know is what's kind of your driving force now? Like, what is your newest, fresh driving force that you're hungry for to want to take your game up to the next level?
I have to give credit to when it goes into teaching and being introduced into that. There's a young lady. Her name's Dr. Gwendolyn Swain. I give her credit for that. She really introduced me into higher education, and I kind of followed in her footsteps. She got her first master's. I got my first one. She got her second one. I got my second one. She went to the Medical University of South Carolina. And she came back and told me about she really should go after your doctorate. And I was like, I've had enough of school, but you know what? While I'm on a roll, don't stop. And I went down there and completed that as well. And then she talked to me about teaching, and after going to school, I made a lot of great connections. With her and a few other professors try to kind of convince me into getting into teaching the informatics courses there, healthcare informatics, and after I started, I loved it, and you meet a lot of future leaders there, and get to hear their stories. And I've been teaching now 7 years at a couple different universities, and it's just amazing to hear all the different students' perspective and stories and experiences through all their different departments, and you just try to get a more of a balanced approach instead of looking at it just from an IT lens. You're looking at it from a clinical lens. You're looking at it from an HR perspective. You're looking at it from executive top-down perspective. So teaching, I think I learn as much as I teach. So been great. It's really been great.
Yeah, I can attest to that as well. And I would say different hats that I try to wear, whether it be my career or just personal development, and bringing this podcast, for instance, to fruition, and keeping people that I look to take my game the next level, like Tobin, or, different mentors in different fields. So for me, I feel like I'm kind of in the mix and just trying to figure it out. And so to your point, what I really liked what you had to say is about you sharing about your mentor that you kind of look up to, because if you want to take your game to new heights, you got to have somewhere to look up to, so you have a path to follow, and then make, I always say, don't be normal, be an example. And I think to your point,
exactly.
you're being an example. So anyone that does come out of Germany is going to look at your story and go, well, you know what? This guy can do it and make his mark by getting spotted in Carolina, and he's never been there, but he just found a way to make, we're the protagonists of our own story. And I think you've, done an amazing job. So, again, as we wrap up here, just sharing my gratitude, for you coming on and for, telling your story, and hopefully anyone that listens feels a little bit more aware about how important it is to take care of our virtual security, not just the security you buy at Best Buy to put on your home out front.
Hey, I just want to say kudos to you too for being a teacher and a coach. So you're teaching from two different perspectives. So I have a great admiration for anyone doing that. So
thank you.
That hit me right there. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Man. My heart is just overflowing with joy and happiness.
Valentine's Day came early. Yeah,
it did. Or late. Either way.
Either way. It depends what you're celebrating. Yeah, anyway. On that note, we're going to leave the love there, and hopefully we spread some good vibes to you, those of you that are tuning in. If you like what you heard, be sure to rate and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And as always, if you're tuning in on YouTube, and if you haven't already, you got to check it out. It's Costen and Hammer YouTube. Be sure to like, subscribe, and throw on those notifications so you know exactly when the next Costen and Hammer Productions video
drops.
There you have it. So on behalf of myself, Josh Hammer, co-host Tobin Costen, and our guest, Dr. Howard Beatty, we say this has been another episode of Learning the Ropes.
The Ropes.
Take care, everybody.